What is up, guys? So welcome to Tech Talk. Today we're going to be talking about Nikon and why I'm afraid to invest in further glass. So Nikon's profits were down 50% this year, and a lot of people are talking about why they're having such a big problem selling their mirrorless camera lineup. And overall, I really don't get it. I invested in a Nikon Z6, and so far I really love the camera. It performs great in video, especially video autofocus compared to older Nikons, which basically didn't have any autofocus at all. And the quality of the photos is great. It shoots pretty quickly, and overall, this camera has satisfied everything I need in a camera and really exceeded it. So I think the cameras are great in themselves, but one of the reasons I feel like they had a big problem selling was they were released and they felt unpolished. The software that they had didn't have good low light autofocus. It didn't have facial recognition, especially for things like video autofocus and picture autofocus. And a lot of the other features were just lacking. Where Nikon is really lacking is their software. When it comes to things like IAF, they're way behind their competitors, especially Sony, who has the best IAF out there and seems to work generally a lot better. I use Nikon's IAF when I'm doing portraits and headshots, but once you get zoomed out a little bit, it just doesn't work. And if your subject exits the frame when they re-enter, it's hard to pick up the eye again. You have to find yourself switching from one focus mode back to get it to pick up the IAF. When you look at competitors like Sony, their IAF is way faster. It doesn't lag behind the eye, and the tracking seems to refresh way more often. And when someone exits the frame, it just gets it right back. Canon's is pretty good, slower than Sony's, but still works a lot better than Nikon. And I feel like these are the specialty features that people are really buying cameras for these days, when they allow you to hit focus way easier and take less guesswork when focusing on your subject. Now that a year later they've released all these updates and the camera seems to work much better, I feel like it's a completed product. But that moved a lot of people from Nikon to other brands like Sony and Canon, who are their biggest competitors. And one of the reasons I feel like this camera's not selling well, even though it has great video, is that other brands are known better for their video. Canon has their dual pixel autofocus, which they're famous for. Sony has great picture quality and profiles like S-Log, so you can drop LUTs in and do things really quickly. And overall, those cameras are what pop up first when people recommend video and photography stills cameras. So I think one of the biggest markets that's also lacking for Nikon is YouTube. I'm the only YouTuber that I know that doesn't record with a Canon or Sony camera, and a lot of other people said, why would you buy that? Canon is so much better, this and that, and I've never found myself feeling that way. I feel like they're all pretty much equal when it comes to the recording and what I do with my videos. I don't use any of these crazy advanced features and anything like that, but Nikon is scaring away a lot of the people that are loyal to the brand, especially with new things like the D6. The D6 just came out and it's basically worthless. There's really no upgrades over the D5 except for it gets 2 more frames per second, and that's about it. The autofocus is slightly improved, but the D5 autofocus was already so good you weren't missing anyways. And I feel like it's just been pretty scary to see Nikon not advance their biggest product forward, and that really shows in the amount of people switching to these other brands. So I don't know if I'm going to continue investing in glass for this. I'm kind of scared because if they don't do well and they go bankrupt or something like that, how am I going to be able to buy new bodies for my old lenses that I spent $5,000 for? The Holy Trinity, the 24-70 2.8, the 70-200 2.8, and the soon-to-be released 12-24 2.8 combined is going to be around $6,000. They're about $2,500 each, so even more than $6,000. But that's a ton of money, and when people buy lenses, they expect them to last the longest time. You buy a body for a short period of time, but you buy the lenses for the life of the system. So we'll see what happens with Nikon on their next camera release. Hopefully they can release something that's really amazing, especially in their mirrorless lineup, that'll pull more people towards buying a Nikon camera. But I really don't know. I don't know how the future is going to go, and I don't see that happening because other brands like Sony are advancing so much in their cameras, and things like the new 1DX Mark III that just came out with 4K 60 and a bunch of other crazy specs on it that Nikon hasn't rivaled at all with the D6. So I don't really know what to do, guys. So we'll see about the future. I'm really excited to see what cameras Nikon releases next year. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace.